This is your weekly podcast for Rocky's Rockin' Cruises and Adventures, bringing to you information about the greatest rock and roll cruises in the world. Hosted by Kathleen Kane and Rocky. Hi, I'm Kathleen Kane with Wiley Productions, and we are presenting to you today. It is our Rocky's Rockin' Cruises and Adventures, Rockin the Caribbean podcasts, and we are on episode 9. We've been having so much fun. And so please welcome the founder and executive producer of the best rock and roll cruise on the planet, Rocky.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi,
That was
Rocky.
such an introduction. My, oh my.
Well, we've been having so much fun.
These have been a lot of fun. And we're getting so much
Yes.
feedback on the podcast. It's been really great. The acts love it. The people that watch love it. They're writing into me and sending me emails and Facebook posts and things like that. So keep watching.
Keep that coming. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, subscribe for sure, because we're going to be doing a lot more other than the cruises on the YouTube channel and on the podcast about all kinds of different things that we're doing and upcoming shows and adventures and things like that. So
now today we're going to be having a special guest on, but who will be on the cruise February 16th through February 24th, 2024, on Adventures of the Seas. Why don't you tell us some more about it?
Well, we have one of my favorite people in the world, one of my oldest friends. She's the original lead singer of those songs, The Do Run Run, Then He Kissed Me. So many hit records. I'm talking about Lala Brooks, the original lead singer of the group, The Crystals.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's great.
And so much fun. She brings her backup singers.
Yep.
And she, what I love about her too, she really brings it home. What an entertainer.
Yeah, for, someone that's been doing this a while, she's been doing this a while, she really don't look like she's been doing this a while, because she's so vibrant and so beautiful and so energetic, and she just gets out on that stage, and it's a cross between like Tina Turner and a half a dozen other women that are just energetic, and Suzanne Summers with this and that and all that. She's just unbelievable.
She is.
She's really something on stage.
She is. Yeah. So what do you say we bring Lala on?
Let's bring on Lala. You there?
Okay. There she is.
Hey, Lala.
Hey, Lala. How are you?
How you guys doing? I'm fine, thank you.
We're doing great. Where are you? Are you in New York? We finally got in. Modern technology.
You're not kidding. And an old bugger that doesn't know technology.
Oh, funny.
I'll call you on the phone.
That works for me. But finally we got in, but I'm okay. I'm in the East Village. I live in the East Village.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm in East Village, yeah.
So a little bit different
with
from
all the crazies.
Yes, true. I've been there. I've lived there.
Yeah.
A little bit different from the Caribbean, right?
Oh, sure, but I mean, all of it's good because I love the Caribbean too. Yes. I'd love to live at the Caribbean, but it's so expensive.
Yeah. Millions of dollars for a shack on the beach.
I could believe that. Rocky. It's crazy.
Well, it's great to have you on. This is our weekly podcast that we do for Rockin the Caribbean, and you become like a mainstay on Rockin the Caribbean. We love you. You do such a great job. The people love you. It's such a fun cruise when you're on there. You just add so much happiness and joy and laughter and unbelievable singing and
And dancing. Amazing. Yeah.
I mean, we love having you.
I'm so honored. Rocky. Thank you so much, Rocky. You know what? I'm so honored that you choose me every time to be on the show. And I mean, the cruises that I've done with you, I'm so grateful because I have a ball. Everybody's so sweet, and we don't have no drama. We don't have no diva kind of thing.
That's correct.
So I'm really, because I'm not a diva.
No, you're
I'm
not.
not a diva at all. So I have a ball, and I'm just so thankful for you putting me on the shows. And I wanted to always tell you that I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. I love the fans. I love the people. I have no complaints whatsoever. I really don't.
Well, again, you're one of the mainstays. We bring back some of the same acts every year on that cruise because it's become like this big happy family And we all know each other, we all love each other, we all respect each other, and we have such a great time throughout the week. And we're really looking forward to this year coming up because we get to spend an extra day. You know, it's just an extra night. It's not a whole full day, but I mean, it's nice to have a little bit more time cruising in the Caribbean. We have 4 ports of call that we're going to, and you know, we just want to say that Lala Brooks, when she's on the ship, no matter where we are, if we're in an island or we're cruising, she's always walking around. She's happy. She's singing. She's talking to
you. Smiling like she's smiling, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what are your some? You know, you started when you were. How old were you when you started in this business? If you don't mind
You know,
me
when I
asking.
started with no, I do mind, but no, no, I'm just joking. I started with the Crystals when I was 13, really 12 and a half.
That's
But
amazing.
when I did my first tour with James Brown, I turned 13. But Dee Dee's mom found me after school when I was 12 and a half. And then when I turned 13, we did our first tour with James Brown. So I was, like I said, 13 when I started the group. I was the baby of the group.
Wow.
But I had a guardian. I had all the protection you could imagine, you know, which is so great. You know, I'm fortunate because you would think that someone, like some people would ask me, well, my God, you're like 13 years old. How did your mother let you do that? But I had a guardian all the way. There was always someone protecting me as a child. So I really had a beautiful childhood, and I went to private schools, and so I was really protected. So, and my mother made sure of that. I just wasn't thrown out there as a teenager. I did have a guardian, and I did was educated in the private schools. So I was really fortunate.
Interesting.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, how was it? You know, when Phil Spector did, you know, tell us a little bit about that whole story. Did he hear you guys singing, or did you audition? How did that whole thing with Phil Spector come about?
Well, there was a guy named Betty Wells. He was a cousin of Barbara Alston, one of the girls, and he met Phil Spector. And I think they hooked up, and naturally Phil was looking for a girl group. And then that's where we came on Phil Spector's label. And we were the first girls on his label, or the first artists with Phil. Nobody else was on Phil Spector's label.
So no Ronettes yet? None of that was happening yet?
No, it was only us and Phil. And then when Phil went out to California, he developed the Gold Star Studio, and then he got Jolene, then he got Darling Love, then he got the Ronettes and the Righteous Brothers, and Bobby Sox and the Blue Jeans. But we started Phil Spector in New York. We used to go, in fact, Phil Spector had an apartment, 2 apartments. One apartment we used to rehearse in, like I think on 42nd in York, and that was our rehearsal studio. And Cynthia Wiles used to come there with her husband, and Carole King with Jerry Goffin. Because, you know, Carole King wrote He Hit Me for the Crystals, one of the Crystals records. So they used to always be at the studio with Phil with the writing part. You know, Carole King, Jerry Goffin, you know, Cynthia Wiles, and all of those writers was with Phil Spector. And in fact, what's his name was Glenn Campbell was always one of the musicians in the studio when he moved out to California.
So on that,
but in New York, we had the best of writers.
Yeah, well, you guys, I mean, you were, so I didn't know Glenn Campbell was on those records. That's very interesting.
Yeah, in California, when I was flown out to California to put down Do Run Run and Then He Kissed Me, the track, Glenn Campbell was playing the guitar. He was in the studio all the time with Phil.
That's something. I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow.
It's amazing. So, you know, coming up in that era, I mean, you were a teenager, and you're getting, you know, you're going on tour with James Brown, you're going on tour with all these people. You know, you're going from city to city to city, and you're up there singing the songs. How did it make you feel? Did you actually take it all in and go, wow, I made it? Or was it just boom, 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 go, 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 and you didn't have time to breathe or actually realize what you were going through back then?
I think that me as a kid, you know, kids, my brain is different. My brain is not as developed as a person 18. So I just was going along with the flow.
I was just saying,
go here. I said, okay.
Yeah, going with the flow.
Right.
Yeah. I was a kid when they said, go here, we'll go here. And all the tours we did in England and Australia and Bermuda. And then we worked a lot with Sam Cooke. In fact, we worked with Sam Cooke so much, some of the girl groups used to get like a little bit chesty, indirectly, but in a positive way, because they would say, oh, you Crystals are just managed by Sam Cooke. That's why he books you on the shows with him. But that wasn't it. He just we just got along, and we worked with Sam Cooke so much. But as far as feeling, as I didn't feel as an adult would feel like, oh, I've arrived, because I just was a kid. So I'm going to think as a child.
And
I'm
you were
just
still
so glad
going
to be there and performing.
Right.
And you were still going to
sorry,
school. You were still going to school.
I was going to school. I think I was
Yeah.
worried about school because
Yeah.
I went to a predominantly school that was the school that they took me from was public school, and I had to go into school that was very rich kids, and these were kids that their moms was in One Life to Live, Days of Our Lives. I went to
wow.
school with all those soap opera kids, and these rich kids, and I didn't come from a rich family, so I had to adjust myself with very wealthy children because they have different attitudes, So I had to make sure that I would fit in with them. So my worries were not so much the stage. My worries were school, because I wasn't fitting in, because these kids are very wealthy. And when they're wealthy, they think different. And sometimes they didn't want to speak to me. But then I would have to find a way that, to make them feel comfortable with me. But they began to feel comfortable when they realized that I was famous in the Crystals. That's when they came along with me. Because, like I said, these kids some of them was in soap operas. When you see the soap operas on television, you see little children. I went to school for kids that were from the kindergarten to the 8th grade, and then from the 8th grade to another school, from the 8th grade to 9th grade. So these little kids, they were on soap operas. And the ones that I went to school with that was like 11, they were on soap operas. So they were very rich children, and I was not in that category. So I just had to, bite the bullet, and eventually they opened up to me. But, it had no fault of theirs. They just was raised different than I was.
And of course,
so I had to adjust.
You're out with the #1 record, selling millions of records, and Phil's taking all the money.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to get to that point. I knew he had to say something.
Oops.
But you know what? He ain't taking nothing now.
He ain't taking nothing now. That's
Yeah.
well.
No. So you know what? With Phil, I love Phil. I mean, I must say that because I was a child, I wasn't thinking about money. And when I worked with Phil in the studio with Sonny Bono and Cher, I was so much in awe of Phil. I didn't feel what the other people felt at a certain age with money-wise, because I just love Phil, and I love Sonny Bono. And, I thought Phil was the greatest. I loved the way his fashion was. I liked the way he dressed, and he was always gentle to me, maybe because I was a kid. He wasn't as harsh and wasn't as crazy. So I always had a softness in my heart for Phil, whether it was money or no money. I still had that feeling because of a kid, what he did for me as recordings were concerned. So I never had hatred for him about the money or anything like that. Never did.
That's good. You have that good memory. Now, do you find that when you're on these cruises and when you're out performing, do you find a lot of people come up and ask you questions like this as well? They want to know more about you.
Oh, yeah, but most of the time, they want to know about Phil Spector because they think he was a whack job, and they'll come up to me. They say, "Where's our wacky Phil? Was he a whack job? Was he?" So I always have to defend Phil, whether he's dead or alive. I always defend him,
That's
because
nice.
I know him when I'm 13 or 14. You have to realize that Phil is only 21 and 22 years old. He's only about 22 years old, 23, the most. So he was a young boy too, a young man too. So he just started getting different years after, you know what I'm saying? Because people don't realize that he started out very, very young. And by the time I was with him, Phil was not 25 years old.
Right.
So he was feeling his oats. So I think the crazy thing he did was from, being young and foolish, and money could sometimes make you do the craziest things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we love having you on the cruises. I wanted to tell you too, Lala. This is breaking news, just off the wire here. We have our 2025 cruises set, and I just wanted to let you know that we'll be leaving on February 7th of 2025 out of Port Canaveral, Florida, for another 8-night cruise, coming back on
so cool.
the 15th, and we're going to be going to some new and exciting ports. We're going to be going to Phillipsburg, St. Martin. We're going to be
Oh my
going back
God.
to St. Croix. We're going to be going to San Juan,
Oh,
Puerto
God.
Rico, and we're going to also be going to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic once again. So a couple of new ports of call for 2025. So there it is, breaking news. That's next 2025's Rockin the Caribbean cruise out of Port Canaveral on Adventure of the Seas
I was
once
gonna
again.
ask you that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the best ship. That class ship is perfect for what we do. And I'm here to say, Lala, would you like to join us again in 2025?
I'd be honored. I'm honored. So honored.
That's great.
Well, that
I'm so
sounds
thankful.
great.
I'm so thankful.
Well, that sounds great. Now, also, check out Lala where she works around the country too, because your show is fabulous. She does work with Rocky and Rollers once in a while around the country and in Florida, and I think we might be working on something now. I'll get back to you on that. Down here in Florida. So, make sure you get out and see Lala Brooks and her show because it's phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure.
Great entertainer.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so humble. I really don't think I don't think like a big star. I don't think like that. I just enjoy the audience. I enjoy the people. And I'm so humble and I'm just so thankful, Rocky, that you have me on these tours. And I'm so thankful that you have me on the cruise. I really am. And I can't express that enough.
That's
And with
nice.
the fans, I love you guys always, always.
Yeah, and that comes across for sure. You don't leave anything undone. When you're done, you put it all out there, and you really do give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure
Thank you
having
so
you on
much.
it.
Thank you.
Would you come back if we asked you again? Would you come back for another podcast now that we got it figured out?
I sure will. I sure will. Anytime.
Okay. All right.
Thank you guys so much. Thank
you. Have fun in New York. We'll see you
All right,
soon.
baby.
We'll see you on the
Bye-bye.
cruise.
Lala Brooks, everybody. Hey, I love you.
All right, sweetie.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Pretty much everything you said.
Yeah, I love that woman to death. I really do.
Yeah.
Not just to sit and talk to her like this, but to perform with her on stage, to hang out with her and all. She's just a ball of energy and a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's so much fun to talk to, too. I can't wait to see her on the cruise in person. Now, there are some changes.
There's a change, yeah. And, I don't want to say it's a minor change because to me it's a major thing because of the relationship I have with this woman. But Peggy March, who's been doing my cruises since the beginning, she was on my very first cruise.
Yeah, right.
When I started doing Rockin the Caribbean. She has, she told me to tell everybody, and we might have her on to talk about it too. She's very famous in Germany, in Europe, for most of Europe, a very, very big artist in Germany.
Right.
And recorded a new album.
In German.
In German last year.
Yeah.
And the album has taken off. It's doing really well for her. And she called, and there's a bunch of promoters over there that want her to do a tour, and it coincides with the cruise next year.
Right.
It's like 3 months, January, February, March, of touring Germany and a little bit of Europe to support the album. And I said, Peggy, I'm so happy for you.
Right.
You need to do this.
Yeah.
We can survive one cruise without you, even though I'll be crying about it.
Me too.
I know. She's great, and
Yeah.
what a talent. But this is a great opportunity for her. So I said, yeah, no problem. We'll replace her. And we got another act to come in. Joey D and the Starlighters.
Oh,
Joey will be joining us
awesome.
next year. And
Yeah.
he's always a lot of fun, another ball of energy. My Gumba, my Paisan,
Talk about, yes, you're right. I was going to say, and talk about energy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's something else. He's got some great stories. He grew up with the Valleys and with Frankie and with Joe Pesci was one of his best friends and the bass player in his band.
Neat.
Yeah, it was the bass player and Joey D's. He was a Starlighter, along with
I
Jimi
never knew
Hendrix.
that. Wow.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix was his guitar player. Joe Pesci was his bass player. The Young Rascals were his band.
Wow.
The Ronettes, Ronnie Spector and the Ronettes were his background singers. Joey D has an amazing history in music, especially in the 60s.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to having him on, too, with the podcast next week.
Right.
Week after, I think, and talk
tell
about
us-
stuff with him.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about some of the other shows that'll be happening on the cruise.
Oh, well, we'll be doing all the shows when we do the Sensational 60s show, which we'll have
Right.
2 or 3 of the 60s acts on. And we have the original Hitmaker show, which
Right.
is Dennis Stefano and Brian Hyland and those guys. And the Doo-Wop and Rock show, which will have like Vito Picone and the Elegants. And it'll have, I don't want to let all the cat out of the bag here, And then Bowser's Rock and Roll Party, which will be Bowser and Johnny Contardo, and Bowser and his group, the Stingrays.
What a blast.
Along with Rocky and the Rollers.
Right.
And Jay Siegel's Tokens will be on it this year. So that's always a fun show. Those are the main shows in the showroom. And, you know, we have Studio B that we do our dances. And there's all different types of dances. I mean, just go to the website, because the website, you guys have done it. These guys did my website, the new website, Rocky's Rockin' Cruises and Adventures.com. And I got to tell you something. You got to go to the website. I like to go to it every day and just look and click.
I like to look at the pictures.
And the pictures are great.
They are. And this is Royal Caribbean, which is like the best cruise line. Really.
Adventure of the Seas this year and next year.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, we sold out.
Really?
Yeah, we did. We got to our target number, but we got more cabins.
Okay.
So sold out isn't really sold out. We're allowing some more people into the group to go with us because we have plenty of room. I don't like to let it get too big because of Studio B. But yeah, we got more cabins. So there are more cabins available now in each category that you can just call your AAA, local AAA rep, or call the 800 number on the screen. We'll have that up a little bit later. And they'll direct you right there. Or it's real simple. You go to the website, you click on contact, and it takes you right to AAA travel. And they'll be able to book you right on the
Easy. Yeah. And the dates are February 16th through the 24th, 2024, so it's an extra day, and there's an extra stop.
There's an extra stop. We have 4 stops now, 4 ports of call.
Right.
We're going to be going to Labadee, which is a private area on the one side of Haiti that is uninhabited, basically, and Royal Caribbean bought all this property and on the ocean, and it's absolutely gorgeous and very safe and very nice and beautiful and you know, fun in the Caribbean there. It's really a great stop. Then from there we go around the island. We go to Dominican Republic, to Punta Cana, which is a great and kind of new port of call. Lots of good things to do in Punta Cana. And then we go to St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, which is one of my favorite destinations. We used to do a lot of shows in the Virgin Islands back in the early 80s. Love that. Love going there. And also St. Thomas. Amali, you know, we're going to be going to Charlotte Amali, which is a big port, of course, and you know, there's some great beaches in St. Thomas, some great excursions, great shopping. I'm sure you'll hear all about that from Royal Caribbean. Get the checkbook out, guys. They want the jewelry and the perfumo, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, it just sounds like it's going to be another fabulous cruise.
Yeah, we have a great time.
All right.
Great time.
Okay, well, stay tuned for our next episode. We'll have another special guest on, and this has really been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Okay, once again, give it up for Rocky. He is the founder and executive producer of the best rock and roll cruise on the planet, and that is Rockin' the Caribbean. I'm Kathleen Kane with Wiley Productions, and we'll catch you next time.